Hi all, my name is Yara Shahidi. You may know me as Zoe Johnson, who I have played for 8 years. So you may know me as an actor, or a socially engaged human, or even a producer. But a title that I take so much pride in is that of being a student. I have been a student my entire life and a proud one at that. My parents always knew that I was a nerd and really supported the vision by treating me as what they would call an educational guinea pig. And this isn't in some sort of strange, experimental kind of way, but they acknowledge this truth. My mother, as an incredible Black woman who pursued her own master's degrees, knew deeply and intimately the ways in which even the best educations were not necessarily the most inclusive educations, or educations that would support me as a young brown woman by pursuing my passions and setting me up to go into the world. And so with that, we embarked on this journey, my entire life, trying different things, from having an alternate curricula at home, in which when the school day ended, I would go home to learn more deeply about my communities, the stories that weren't being shared, to going to a Montessori school of 5 people, to an all-girls Catholic school, to even distance learning. And I acknowledge the deep privilege in being able to hop around like this and to find what the best fit was. But in doing so, I feel like I have had this lifelong study that I've been on of understanding the repercussions of education, of understanding the ways in which the mantra, if you can see it, you can be it, really stand true. If anything, it makes me think of my own experience. I'm currently a senior at Harvard. Now, when I was first thinking about college, which I was since I was 4, I didn't think Ivy Leagues were even a space for me. And it wasn't because I didn't have straight A's, because I did, or that I wasn't passionate about school, because I was, but really because at no point in my career or life was that looking like a space that actually had room for me, that would actually support me. It wasn't until I visited Harvard, I was 13, and my cousin Naz, who has deeply invested in me as he has in many other people, thought it was important for me to be in the space. And so he welcomed me as he announced his fellowship for students who wanted to study hip hop. And the reason that I bring this up was that that was the first time I had been in a higher education setting surrounded by my community, by Black and brown folks who were taking pride in studying our culturally competent knowledge, of writing about hip hop as social theory, and doing so much more. I was surrounded by Black professors who are really a rarity in so many of our universities, which is so unfortunate. But it was being in that space when I first realized the idea that I had potential here and that I would have a support network here. But that took so many steps to be able to even get there, to be able to even realize that this was a future that I could pursue. So when we're looking at the statistics of higher education, particularly graduate school, when you're thinking about master's programs and PhDs, it's so disheartening to see numbers like the fact that the incoming class of master's and doctoral students are only going to be 6% Black. That is not reflective of the diversity of our demographic. It's not reflective of our brilliance, the knowledge that we have to share. And we understand that this is so much more than just pursuing education or a certain line of study, but that the repercussions are vast and varied. When we're thinking about this next generation of leaders, and I know right now I am speaking to the next generation of leaders, people who are leading actively, we know that oftentimes a degree is our access to that. And when it is not offered so that it cannot be an intentional choice made with agency, whether or not you want to move ahead, then we understand that this is another form of systemic obstacles faced in front of us. See, the issue is two-pronged. Not only are there very few Black and brown academics that have the space and safety within the university to continue to call in our generation, but we also know that the people that are walking out with degrees are not diverse. And yet and still, they have so many opportunities presented to them by the nature of just having pursued this education, which is why I am so thrilled by the mission of the Leadership Brainery. When Jonathan Allen and Derek Young Jr. first shared with me their goals and intentions, it just felt so aligned, because this is exactly what we need. When we look honestly at the obstacles in front of us, whether it be the application process, whether it be even feeling like our own experiences have been devalued in this space of academia, Leadership Brainery is not just extra support, but essential support. These are the networks that dominant culture has had access to for years. And so there should be no shame, but in fact a celebration of the fact that we now have access to spaces that are dedicated to your thriving in academia, to you thriving towards whatever your passion is. And if education is your path to that point, then here we have it, a new community. I'm so excited by what you all will continue to do. I'm excited by the fact that this will systematically break down issues that we've seen in academia, because we will no longer see inclusivity as this cute additive to these spaces, but they will understand how essential it is to the thriving of our communities, to the thriving of us as a society, when you have voices in there that are representative of every part of our world. So with that, I leave you by saying I cannot wait for the adventures that you will go on. I am here rooting for you, and I am excited to change those stats that we hear, and I'm even more excited to witness the impact it will make firsthand. Much love. Bye.